Hello YouTube, how's everyone doing? It's Professional here. So today I have another top 10 video for you guys, and this one is top 10 tips to help beginners in Ghost of Tsushima. I recently completed Ghost of Tsushima, and this is one of the best games that I've ever played, and I thought that I would share these tips that help people out, and these tips, at least in my opinion, these helped me out a lot early on in the game, so I wanted to share it with people because a lot of you guys have been asking on my stream, should I get this game? I do definitely think you should get this game. I will be doing a review later, but in this video, we will be focusing on top 10 tips to help beginners in Ghost of Tsushima. So I hope that you guys enjoyed the video. Let's get started here. Starting off at number 10, we have end suffering kills. Now, end suffering kills, you can only get these if you fight enemies in the open. So if you fight enemies sword-to-sword combat, they see you, you can get these. If you stealth kill enemies, you will not be able to get these because every single enemy that you stealth kill will instantly be dead. So what are end suffering kills and why are they important? Now, end suffering kills, you can get these when you fight large groups of enemies. Now, when you fight large groups of enemies, chances are there's almost always going to be one enemy that is still going to be alive on the ground. They're not going to be able to fight you, like in this case right here. You're going to see them wounded. You're going to see them crawling. Go up to them and hit square to end suffering. Now, in this case, it didn't really help me out this much. I'm going to show you guys a second case where it actually helps out a lot. What end suffering kills basically do is the enemy is crawling. They can't do anything to hurt you at this point, but you should still execute them. When you execute them, it restores a massive amount of resolve. Just take a look at this. In this case right here, I had taken out this enemy. This enemy was still alive, went up to him, did the end suffering kill, restores a massive amount of resolve. So whenever you're in combat and you take out a bunch of enemies, start looting the area, checking the bodies, and see who's still alive. If you have an enemy that's still alive, make sure that you take them down, because it'll restore a massive amount of resolve, and the resolve in this game, it heals you, so it helps you out for future battles. It's very effective. At number 9, we have Follow the Golden Birds. Now these birds, you will notice them flying all around the map, and these birds are there for a reason. Whenever you see one of these golden birds, follow the bird. The bird will often slow down if you're behind, catch up to it and follow it, because the bird will always lead you to a point of interest. These birds have led me to so many unique things. They've led me to collectibles, they've led me to quest locations, to secret locations. These birds have led me to so many different things. So whenever you see one of these golden birds, follow the bird. And this bird, I was swimming in the ocean, and it led me to this island, and I probably would not have found this island if it was not for this bird. So whenever you see one of these golden birds, just follow them, because you never know where they will lead you. Next at number 8, we have Learn How to Use the Wind. Now, the wind is the GPS, basically, in this game. There is no mini-map. There is a main map if you hit the options button, but if you try to mark any location on the map, you'll have in the top left corner of your screen, it'll tell you how many meters you are from that location. But to get to that location and to realize what direction you're going in, you have to swipe up on the touchpad, and when you do this, the wind will blow in the direction of that target location that you have marked. The wind will blow there. And this also is the same when you're doing a story mission. The wind will blow in that direction. And you should get used to the wind as much as possible. Don't use the main map. You can use the main map to just get a general idea of where you're going, but then if you do that, you're going to constantly keep pulling out the map over and over and over again, and it's just going to get annoying. You want to learn how to use the wind. The wind's a really cool feature in this game. It's unique. I haven't really seen a game do something like this before. And also, if you go into your techniques, you can actually upgrade your exploration techniques. And then what you can do is you can set the wind to find location like Shinto shrines, springs, fox dens. You would just basically press right in the D-pad and you would hit that specific location. So like in this case, I marked the spring and I started following the wind there. I didn't know how far the spring was, but I kept following the wind and I kept following it and I got to the spring and I was able to upgrade my health because of that. So you really want to get used to the wind. And also later on, I'm going to explain if you use the Traveller's Attire, this will also help you greatly, especially when you're trying to go for collectibles, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. Moving on to number 7, we have Talk to Every Single NPC. Now, as you progress through the game, through a lot of towns and villages, and sometimes even in the countryside, you will actually meet NPCs where they'll kind of have like a little speech bubble above their heads. And a lot of people run past these thinking it's just a regular conversation, but these NPCs almost always give you some kind of important information. Like in this case, this NPC told me where a Mongolian shipyard was, and I had not found this location before, and because of this NPC, I was able to go to that that location and clear it out. These NPCs can also tell you where certain other items are. They can tell you where quest locations are. So make sure you talk to these NPCs. And also, there's random NPCs in the world that you can rescue. Now, the Mongolians will be attacking random NPCs. You can sometimes see them on the road. Whenever you save these NPCs, they almost always give you some kind of important information. So make sure you interact with every NPC you see. And if you can save any NPCs on the road, save them also, because you never know what they're going to tell you. Next up, we have the different things in the world, which include Haiku, Lighthouses, Bamboo Strikes, Shinto Shrines, Hot Springs, and Fox Dens. Let's start off with Haiku first. Now, Haiku is a place that Jin will find on the map, different places in which he will kneel down on a mat and perform haiku. And basically what you are doing, the objective here, is you are zooming in on different things around you, and you are trying to construct a poem. And depending on the poem that you construct, Jin will get different headbands. However, this is purely cosmetic. It doesn't give you any kind of strategic advantage. Haiku is just purely cosmetic for different headbands. Next up, we have lighthouses. Now, in total, there are 8 lighthouses across the map, and you get a trophy. You get a trophy for lighting the flame in all 8 lighthouses. One of the lighthouses is also in a single-player mission, so one of the single-player missions that you do early on in Act 1, you will encounter your first lighthouse. And the lighthouses are pretty noticeable. They all look the same, very tall. They are on coastlines, obviously. Climb up to the top of them. When you climb to the top of them, you light the flame. Usually it will give you a technique point, and it will give you a lot of points towards building your legend. Next up, after that, we have the bamboo strikes. Now, bamboo strikes are extremely useful. If you ever come across a bamboo strike, make sure you do it. Don't just run past it, do it. Now, bamboo strikes will help you out so much. If you do a bunch of bamboo strikes, they will help you out so much later in the game. So what are bamboo strikes? Bamboo strikes are a mini game in which you tap a series of buttons 3 times. The first 2 are pretty easy, but the third one is pretty difficult. However, you get unlimited tries, so you can do it as much as you want. And if you get the 3 strikes correctly done, you will get an extra resolve. Resolve is what you use to heal yourself, and the more resolve you have, the higher chance you have of surviving, because you have more opportunities to heal yourself. As for the 3rd bamboo strike, just keep practicing, focus, think about it in your mind. It'll get you a few tries, and eventually you'll strike and get it done. Next up, we have Shinto Shrines. Now, Shinto Shrines are located all over the map as well, and Shinto Shrines are usually located at some type of rock formation, usually someplace high, and you have to climb up to them. Now, in the very first province in Izura, you can climb pretty much the majority of them without needing the grappling hook. Later on, you will need the grappling hook, but you can't advance to the second province until you complete Act 1, and minor spoiler here, but there will be a character that you will meet in the main story in Act 1 who will make a grappling hook for you, so you want to get up to that mission as soon as you can and get good with the grappling hook, because the grappling hook will let you access a lot of new locations, and it's very useful. So basically, you just climb to the top of these Shinto shrines, and when you're at the top of them, you honor the shrine, and this will always give you a new charm. So it gives you a new charm, and on top of that, it also gives you waxwood, which you need for crafting upgrades on your bow. This is the only location in the game where you can get waxwood. Waxwood is one of the most rare materials in the game, so if you're wondering where to get it, you have to get it on top of Shinto shrines. So whenever you see these, if you get a chance, climb up to them and practice using the grappling hook as well. Next up, we have the hot springs. Now, hot springs, whenever you go to these, you will be able to increase your maximum health. So your maximum health will increase each time, and Jin, you can choose what for him to think about. You have 2 different options on what to think about, and these, they don't really matter on which you choose. It'll just matter a little bit of dialogue that Jin will say in the background, but other than that, they will give you more health. And lastly, we have fox dens. Fox dens, when you go up to one of these, you will see a fox. Follow the fox. The fox is also nice that it will slow down for you, so if you fall behind, the fox will also slow down. The fox will lead you to a shrine in which you will be able to upgrade the amount of charms that you get. The more fox dens that you unlock, the more charms that you will be able to equip. So make sure you do these. And as for all of these, don't go crazy with these. Don't go crazy looking around for these. Explore the world, have fun, but don't go crazy looking for just hot springs or looking for just bamboo strikes. Just explore the world, have fun, and when you come across them, do them. Because if you just go crazy looking for each one, it's going to take the fun of the game, and you're going to take way too long looking for hot springs and looking for foxes. Do missions, do other side activities, and along the way you explore the world, you see where everything is. Use the wind also, and you'll find these locations. At number 5, we have important techniques to upgrade early on. Now, these are my opinion, but these techniques have helped me out a lot. Now, when you first start out the game, the first stance that you will have is a stone stance, and this is used against sword fighters. And as you unlock technique points, put one on the stone stance, but then put another one on the deflection, and then put another one on the evasion one also. Just try to balance them out. And as you unlock the other stances, I recommend trying to balance them out. Don't try to spam one. You want to try to balance out your points. But the most important ones to upgrade, at least in my opinion, in the deflection tab, you will have the unyielding sword parry. And this is the same thing for the unyielding spear parry. Now, the unyielding sword parry, what this will do is every single sword fighter in the game, the basic sword fighters at least, they will have certain attacks that are unblockable. This ability will now allow you to parry those attacks. And whenever an enemy does a red attack on you, that you cannot block. The only way to deal with a red attack is to attack them before they attack you or roll out of the way. When you put this ability on, those sword fighters that had that unblockable attack will now be parryable. So this attack, you can notice when it's blue. When they turn blue, this is the attack that this ability is helping you with. And the exact same thing for the spear enemies. Upgrade these, unyielding sword parry and unyielding spear parry. This will help you block pretty much every single sword and spear attack, but it will only help on enemies that are sword fighters and enemies that are spear fighters. There are still going to be attacks that you can't block. Like, for instance, the brute attacks, the vast majority of those you can't block. You also can't block certain attacks the shield guys do. But you also have the deflect arrows one. The deflect arrows one, this one, also get this one. All you basically need to do is just hold down block, and Jin will automatically block arrows that come at you. He will not be able to block fire arrows, so make sure you keep that in mind. But as for the regular arrows, he will be able to block that. And this unyielding sword and shield parry, this will also help you greatly when you fight bosses. There will be certain bosses that are spear bosses and sword bosses, and they have certain attacks that were unblockable, but now you can parry them. Now, the next ability that's extremely important, this is in the Ghost. Now, in the Ghost, when you complete one of the early story missions, you will unlock the ability to start stealth killing enemies with the square button. And when you get this ability, upgrade the next one. And the next one is where you don't take fall damage as long as you're not too high if you roll at the last moment. This kind of helpful, but I don't really use it that much. But the most important ones are the upgrades below it. Now, there are chain assassination kills here, where you can chain assassinate 2 enemies, and then the last one, you chain assassinate 3 enemies. This will help you out so much, and I wish I would have upgraded this early on, because I did not notice this until somewhat like halfway through Act 2, but then afterwards it helped me out so much. And what this does is, if you come up on a group of enemies, as long as they don't see you, and you just kill one enemy, even if it's at the last second, if you press triangle on them, you can chain assassinate them, which means you instantly kill the first enemy, and then you instantly kill the second enemy, and instantly kill the third enemy. You gotta hit triangle on the other 2 enemies, but you can take out a huge group of them. I mean, just take a look at this. This is in the final province in the game, and these are some of those elite Mongolian soldiers. I came up behind them, and I did the chain assassinate kill on them. I took them all out here. So make sure you take advantage of these abilities. Unyielding sword parry, unyielding spear parry, and also the chain assassinate. Those, at least in my opinion, also the deflect arrows, are the most important ones to upgrade early on. They'll help you out so much. Next, at number 4, we have scavenge and loot everything. Now, I know this might seem obvious to people, but crafting is extremely important in Ghost of Tsushima, and you want to scavenge and loot as much as possible early on. Now, the best place to look for loot is in Mongolian camps, and I recommend that you kill all the enemies first before you start looting, just so they don't get in the way. But don't complete the last objective until you loot everything, because in certain camps, when you complete the last objective, Jin will either burn the camp down, or the camp will be inhabited by NPCs, and it will cancel out some of the loot that you could possibly get. Now, the most common loot that you can find in the world is supplies. Supplies can be found pretty much everywhere in the world, in camps, on the roads, in towns, and whenever you see a building in this game, check out the buildings, because most buildings in this game have almost always something inside them. As for the Mongolian camps, check the tents always, and sometimes you'll find chests. These chests can give you a ton of loot in them, and you can craft bow upgrades, katana upgrades, tanto upgrades, which that's the small dagger that Jin uses for stealth, armor upgrades. There's so many different things that you can upgrade in this game, and you can have all the technique points that you want, but if you don't make upgrades to your katana or make upgrades to Jin's armor, this is going to hurt you so much later on. And if you're going to be trying to upgrade an armor, I recommend saving up your materials for the Clan Sakai armor. It's actually a decent armor, and you get this as part of the main story, and you get this in Act 2. Now, the Clan Sakai armor, this will do more damage to enemies. It'll also give you more health, and you'll be able to kill more enemies in a standoff. The Traveller's Attire is also another good outfit to upgrade. I'll explain that one a little bit later on. The Katana, I recommend upgrading that, as well as Jin's Tanto. The Katana, I think, will be a little bit more important to upgrade in case you get detected. It does more damage, and this will help you out so much. And because I scavenged for so much iron, that's the primary material used to upgrade the Katana and the Tanto, I was able to almost completely upgrade my Tanto and my Katana. My Tanto was completely upgraded, and my Katana was almost completely upgraded in just Act 2 alone. And that's because I scavenged so much. And while I found so much iron later on, I could just basically take that iron and I could sell that. I could sell it at the Trapper. So the Trapper, you'll be able to sell different materials to him for. Though I don't recommend doing this unless you don't need the materials. He'll give you supplies, which you can basically convert iron to a lot of supplies. If you do not scavenge and you don't loot early on in the game and you start upgrading Jin's sword, Jin's bow, and Jin's armor, this is gonna hurt you so much, because there's a minor spoiler here, but when you get up to Act 3, you will be locked out of the first 2 provinces in the game, so you won't be able to go back there and loot again. You will just have to do with what you have in the Act 3 province, and that's going to be more difficult because that province has the hardest enemies in the game. So if you don't have upgrades on your sword and upgrades on your armor, and you go into the Act 3 province and then you're locked out of the other 2 provinces, this is going to hurt you really badly. When you complete the game, you can go back to the other 2 provinces, but you want to have a ton of upgrades before you go on to Act 3. So basically, to sum it up, just scavenge and loot as much as possible, because the game will reward you later on. Check the Mongolian camps, check the world also. If you see bamboo growing in the world, or you see yew wood, also pick that up. That's important for bow crafting. So every time you see something that you can pick it up, pick it up. Scavenge all that loot, keep it together, because the game will reward you if you loot a lot. Next at number 3, we have wear the Traveller's Attire as much as possible. Now, the Traveller's Attire is an outfit that you get very early on in the game, and you get it for free basically just by talking to the first merchant. This outfit does not give you any kind of combat abilities and doesn't even help you with stealth, but what it does help you with is with exploring the world. Whenever you are exploring the world, you're just riding around like I am here, you should always be wearing the Traveller's Attire, and you can switch to any other outfit at any time. When you need to go stealth, you can switch instantly, and when you need to go into combat, you can switch into an armor instantly, even if you're detected. So why is the Traveller's Attire so important? When you first get this outfit, it will clear up 10% of the fog of war on the map. The fog of war is basically this fog that's on the map, and as you explore, you go into different areas, the fog starts disappearing. So when you're wearing this outfit, the fog disappears at 10% faster rate. And additionally, if you upgrade it, the fog disappears at 20% faster rate, and then if you get the 3rd upgrade, it disappears at 30% a faster rate. Additionally, when you upgrade it, the artifacts, any kind of collectibles that are in the vicinity, your controller will start vibrating when you are within 30 meters of those collectibles. And if you upgrade to the 4th step, the controller will vibrate when you are near any kind of artifact within 60 meters. So when you're near a collectible, the controller will vibrate when you're within 60 meters. This is if you have the last upgrade, and it will clear 30% more of the fog of war. So whenever you're exploring an area that you have not explored yet, you should be wearing this outfit. And like I said, at any time you can change to any other outfit. So when you need to go into combat, you can change to an armor. When you need to go to stealth, you can change to a stealth outfit. And on top of that, if you go in the abilities and you purchase the ability where you can actually seek out collectibles with the wind, you need to have the Traveller's Attire on. So have the Traveller's Attire on, you go into the map, and then you hit the collectible that you're looking for. So in this case, I chose the flag banner. And because of that, the wind is going to show me exactly where the collectible is. Similar to how we had the hot springs and the other ones earlier, but this one you need to have the Traveller's Attire on. And I followed the wind, and I was able to find a flag. And you can do this for the other collectibles as well. So this is really good for finding collectibles and exploring the map. This will help you out tremendously. So always have this outfit on. I didn't start wearing this outfit until kind of through Act 2, at the end of Act 1, and I wish I was wearing it sooner. This outfit has helped me so much with exploring the map, so always wear this outfit whenever you can. Moving on to number 2, we have liberate all the camps and forts in every province. Now this you're eventually going to do, after playing through the game for some time, you're going to liberate all the Mongolian forts and all the Mongolian camps. Like I said earlier, you want to loot these places, but once you liberate every single one in a province, like for instance in Izuna. This was the last camp that I had to liberate, and this was the Mongolian shipyard. If you liberate every single Mongolian camp and fort in a province, what happens is the fog of war entirely disappears from that map. There will still be question marks on locations that you haven't discovered, but the fog of war will be completely gone. So you will at least know where to look for everything. You'll know how big the area is. You know where the area ends with the coasts. So liberate every single camp and fort in a province, and you will completely eliminate the fog of war. So, like I said earlier, the Traveller's Attire is helpful for getting rid of the fog of war, but if you liberate every single camp and fort, that will completely erase the fog of war in that province. And the number one most important tip, at least for beginners in my opinion in this game, is to observe Mongol leaders. This is extremely important, and I would say the most important thing in this game to do early on. Now, when you kill a Mongol leader in this game, this is what the Mongol leaders look like. You know, they're usually wearing this gold, big, bulky armor, and they almost always have a shield or a sword. Now, when you kill these Mongol leaders, you get a point towards your stance, and when you play through the main story, you will kill some Mongol leaders by default and get points. But what if I told you could double the amount of points you could get and unlock all your stances 2 times faster? All you basically need to do is observe the Mongol leader. Now, whenever you enter a camp and there's a Mongol leader in that camp, try to observe them. And I recommend either hiding behind some kind of cover or high ground. Usually the Mongol leader is actually a little farther away from his soldiers, and he's practicing. He's practicing slashing. Just stay behind cover or above, somewhere where he doesn't see you, and just hold R2. When you hold R2, you will observe him and get a free point. And then, if you kill him right afterwards, you kill him even after you get detected, you get a second point. So you can get 2 points per every single Mongol leader that has not detected you. But don't worry, if you get detected, all you basically need to do is just either let them kill you or just run away from the area and then just come back when they're not looking for you. And then you can just try again. And this way, you can get, instead of killing 6 Mongol leaders and getting 6 points, you can kill 3 Mongol leaders and get 6 points. So you can double the amount of time to unlock the stances. And the stances are used for fighting different enemies. Stone stances against sword fighters, water stances against shield fighters, wind stances against spear fighters, and moon stances against big brutes. So this will help you early on in the game to fight all the different enemies. So make sure you observe the leaders, even if you're not a stealth player. If you're not a stealth player, you like fighting just sword combat, still do this. Still take advantage of this, because this will help you out a lot. Just hide in the brush, hide on a rooftop, hide somewhere where they don't see you, observe them, because this will help you unlock the stances early on. And that is pretty much my list there for top 10 beginners tips for players in Ghost of Tsushima. I'm really enjoying this game, and I'm probably going to have a review for this game. I hope that you guys found this useful. If there's anything I missed, let me know in the comments down below. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like. And if you're new to my channel, enjoy my content, subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, everyone.